Dormidos, café ha funcionado. Bueno, no veo muy bien las caras, pero... Bueno, hemos estado hablando un rato en español, pero ya sabéis que en la industria el inglés es importante. Así que si os parece hacemos un switch. ¿Vale? Pasamos al inglés. Martin, welcome.
Yes.
Well, Martin is from Germany. He's from Germany. He's a big boy in several senses. And he's located in Portugal, in Lisbon. And probably you are thinking, why? Why Martin is in Lisbon, in Portugal? Why? What do you think?
Living the dream.
My wife is from Brazil.
Exactly.
She never liked it too much in Germany. Too cold, bad food, and yeah.
Brazilian wife loves the beach, good weather, good food. So Lisbon is a nice place to be with Martin.
Francesiñas.
Yeah, francesiñas, yeah. So Martin is a community builder, he's freelance, he's always organizing meetups, doing things, working with the AWS all day. So Martin, thank you very much for being here. And I think that it's time to leave the stage.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction and for the warm welcoming. That's much appreciated that I can speak here in front of you and kind of help fostering the community in Spain and Portugal. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm coming today with my talk, Run Your AI LangChain on AWS. So, and let's just dive into it. We had a short summary about me. So I'm playing around with AWS since 2017. Made a couple of certificates there.
The other side.
The other side, okay. Yeah. Now I can hear me louder. It's okay though, like that? Awesome. Yeah, so I'm working with AWS since 2017. Made a couple of certificates. I think 2019 was the solution architect professional ones. That was difficult, but was fun as well. And yeah, since 2 years I'm an AWS freelancer, so having a couple of clients around the world. So that's super fun. And yes, I think my passion started really like with AWS CDK. I think I hopped on it quite early. And it was a pretty nice experience there with the community there as well. And yeah, that started something in me, I guess. And yeah, in my free time I do some exercising, running and workouts. And yeah, I have a cute little family. What else? Community builder, yeah, that's a lot of fun as well. Feel free to connect. And yeah, since 2 months about, I joined a startup as a CDO and a co-founder. It's hellocasa.com. We are having a platform for property agencies so that you can put your properties there. And we have, most of our customers are actually coming from Spain and Portugal and South America, but we are like worldwide. So check it out, hellocasa.com. And now to this talk about the agenda. So I want to quickly tell about what is LangChain. So and why you should run it on AWS. Give a little LangChain demo. And this the local LLM I prepared like the last days, and where I run LLM locally on a Lambda, and some reflecting at the end. And feel free to interrupt me. I prefer like having those interactive talks, you know, than prefer rather than at the end. But you can ask at the end as well. So a short disclaimer. So I'm considering myself not as a data engineer or ML expert or something like that. So I'm really like a DevOps expert. I have a lot of front-end experience since some years as well, like React, Next.js, and stuff like that. And yeah, building pipelines, infrastructure as code, as I mentioned, CDK is really like my passion. And yeah, I'm still looking for cool use cases to where I can like apply LangChain to solve some nice customer use cases. So what is LangChain? This is kind of the logo from LangChain. And perhaps before I so how I got to LangChain or why I kind of like it, because as I told, I really started to like CDK and the TypeScript flavor, and LangChain kind of got me there because it's kind of a nice library as well, where you can use TypeScript to speak to generative AI models like OpenAI or other ones, which we will see in a bit. So it got me kind of there. It was my first touching points with AI, to be honest, due to those LLMs, and it was a pretty cool experience. So as I teased a bit, LangChain is a framework, library, SDK for interacting with, like, it can be multiple LLMs programmatically. Yeah, so I mean, I hope a lot of you are already using ChatGPT. I'm using it a lot, you know, it helps me like a lot. But it's like limited what you can do there because it just has a chat interface, right? So it's kind of hard to get that into your product or whatever you are doing. So you need some sort of programmatically interaction with that. Yeah, and LangChain is like one option for that, you know. I mean, you could use OpenAI SDK directly, but LangChain is kind of agnostic, so it's not like only working for OpenAI, it's working for the other ones as well. And it gives you like some really cool, nice abstractions, which I will tell more about it, abstractions or features. And yeah, and in my opinion, it extends the possibilities you can do with LLMs by a lot. Yeah. Like, for example, you can chunk different LLMs into each other, maybe like using the free tier more efficiently or something like that, for example. And they are offering the LangChain library in Python, of course. I mean, it's like coming from there, kind of, ML and data engineering. But they're as well maintaining a TypeScript library, and that's really what it got me. So, and most of my code is in TypeScript. And it's kind of nice. I can write everything in TypeScript, right? I can write the infrastructure as code, CDK, my front end, and now AI stuff as well. I think that's pretty cool. And yes, I mentioned it has some cool features. I mentioned here. It actually has some more, but like the most highlights or the most interesting for me, I put here. So they have like the concept of a chain, where you can put together multiple LLM calls to each other. I will show this in the demo later. And potentially you could even use different LLMs as well. And for this demo, I will only use OpenAI, except at the end of the local LLM. I'm having my own LLM in this case. And the concept of a memory. So when you speak or when you chat to, like, for example, ChatGPT, you are generating some context, yeah? So, and this context is kind of useful for the AI to speak with you and generate the next words, kind of. And so they come up with the idea of a memory where you can persist your state. And the LangChain offers a nice feature as well, like you just can put in DynamoDB as your memory. I will show that in a bit as well. And agents is a cool idea as well. So agents kind of allow you to take steps by themselves to figure out data, like real-time data. If you, I don't know, want to get some weather data in, yeah, this agent is capable of going to a weather API endpoint and gets actual data. Because I think most, as you know, like for OpenAI, the training data is like until 2021 or so. So it's kind of hard to get actual weather data there. So for this, you can use like agents which are capable of getting those kind of more up-to-date data. And yeah, vector machines is a cool concept as well, where you can kind of train LLMs with your company data or with your data. So as well, so it's kind of training, because for me training means, but correct me if you know better, when you create the model, yeah, so that's kind of training. So what that does is vector machine is just like looking in the database and looks for very similar data which you are asking for. So it can put this one into the context, yeah, and then it helps the LLM to generate the answer out of that. So it's a kind of a smart way to kind of train there with internal data. Okay, any questions? Okay. So why you should run it on AWS? Yeah, why not? Yeah. So yeah, let's face it, your laptop is not production ready, right? When you have like one or more customer or 1,000 customers, so it's kind of hard to serves the request from your laptop, right? So, I mean, you could do that, and it's probably maybe even more cheap. But yeah, you should run something external service, and you should pick AWS because AWS so far really offers the best like builder developer experience. Yeah, it feels a bit like playing with Lego. You have all the different services, can then chunk them together like with CDK in a very nice and type-safe way. So it feels pretty much like playing with Lego, and who don't like playing with Lego, right? So for example, yeah, S3 is a nice service to store your objects there, static files, images, or hosting your website. CDN, CloudFront to serve your website or your files very fast to everywhere in the world. Or DynamoDB as a serverless database, which we will see later as well, which I use as a memory to chunk in, or a good old-fashioned relational database there managed by AWS, like taking away like a lot of ops stuff there as they help you with keep the operation system up to date, making backups regularly, and more, and yeah, and scaling and so on. So it's a really good choice to try it there. Okay, so let's go to the first demo. I kind of like when I explain stuff to use diagrams, because it's a kind of a nice way to abstract data and make it a bit more, or abstract different setups, complex setups there, and to explain stuff. So what you will see, I just like have a function, I think function lambda function, to two of them and the other one there. And before I go more into details here, you can find everything I'm doing here on GitHub in this repository. I will put the slides there as well. Feel free to take it and to work with it. It's like a really, really simple setup. So yeah, feel free to use it. And so the first lambda is the chain what I explained before. So I chain together the first prompt. I want to open a restaurant, and then I give a name for the kitchen. I mean the country, which one, as an input variable, and then I want that is suggest me a fancy name for it. And I will get then a restaurant name for it, and I'm putting this then into the next prompt in my chain, and I want that it me suggest some menu items for it. Okay, so let's do it. So I have as well in the README like explained how it works here, and to keep it simple, I just like do the curl to the lambda. It's connected. Yeah, looks good. So what I'm doing here is just the first one to get the restaurant name and the dishes, and I put as cuisine Spain. So should take some seconds. So it uses OpenAI as an LLM, so it's pretty fast. So the restaurant name is Tapas Ya Sangria Bistro, I guess. Yeah, and it gives you some nice suggestions here as well for menu items. So I just for fun, let me perhaps put some German there. Why not? Lambda is still warm, so it's a bit faster. So das Deutschlandgarten. Okay, that's a bit weird, but because it's okay. But the article is not like it should be der Deutschlandgarten, perhaps. Okay, but I like the suggestions there: Schnitzel, Bratwurst, Kartoffelpuffer, and so on. And sauerkraut. Cool. Awesome. So let's get back to the second example. And here I'm just like having just one prompt, because I want here show the memory actually, yeah, so that I can keep track with a conversation with someone. And with this someone here is an additional property. It's Martin in this case, and it will store in DynamoDB as a key with Martin. And this time I only want to get the restaurant name. French here now. Oh, it's French again. So, and it will, so now it gets just the restaurant name from Spain. And I do a second one so that we can see that it kind of has the previous conversation as well. Let's do German again. I'm very creative. Okay. So, and the response this time gives me like back multiple objects there, like a list. You can see it gets the previous one and this one before here in Spain, as before, and you can see as well in AWS. So you need to refresh here. You can see it stores user Martin. Can you see that in the back? I mean, not so much, I guess. So you can see as well, just what you saw here, okay, the Bavarian Bistro and Tapas de Spain. Okay. And going to the next one. So I prepared for this conference a local LLM setup. So what you can actually do as well with LangChain is to go to huggingface.com because people are like uploading LLM models there, yeah. And then you can like, oh, I want to try this model and do need some coding, and just run it on Lambda. I mean, it's not super fast like with OpenAI, so it was kind of challenging to get it a bit fast and to keep it in those 15 minutes. You can see more details in the repository. But yeah, it's kind of cool because it's kind of fun to try different models, and some models are more good for like coding. Yeah, so when you want programming language code right there, or for a shed, or more general, so can try out different models there and different sizes, like with 7 billion parameters, 13 billion parameters, and so on. But they are getting quite big, yeah. So like the smallest one is already like 4 gigabyte. And then it gets quickly about the boundary of Lambda, so it's get a bit tricky to run it in Lambda, and fast actually. So, and yeah, why you should run Lambda locally? Yeah, there are some motivations. So because those models are perhaps more specialized on the question you're asking for. Yeah, so they are perhaps not tempting to hallucinating too much in there. And yeah, the cost reduction. I mean, Lambda, for example, has a generous free tier, and you might not reach that. And yeah, so that could be one point you can look into it and playing around with it. And yeah, to like for saving some time, as you can see, when I tried this 13 billion one, it took some time to get an answer. But you can be a bit smart and try to keep Lambda warm and stuff like that, so you can reduce that time, because most of the time is needed for initializing the model there as well. So as well, so pretty much the same question as before, but this time I just put the cuisine in the URL there on top, and it gives me back as well an answer there. And yeah, so, and I didn't need to speak to OpenAPI then, yeah. So I just used my local LLM kind of there, and don't need to put in an API key from OpenAI. So that's pretty cool as well. And yeah, I think that's very interesting too. And yeah, I mean, it's getting a bit challenging to keep it short, but yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So as I said, the code is there. Look around. It's a TypeScript CDK. So yeah, have fun with it.
Any questions? Well, it's not a question. It's just more about the demo that you did. Can you, just out of curiosity, what prompt gives you if you put Catalan instead of Spanish?
The first one, I think, right?
Yes.
All fighter disappears.
Thank you.
I hope I read it correctly. Catalan.
Good. Let's see.
Calçots.
Calçots approves. Any more question?
Just our curiosity as well, which LLM you use for the local demo?
That's a good question. Llama 2, the cool, I think 4 billion?
30 billion.
What, no, 7 billion? They have just,
What nice.
yeah, for contemplate, yeah, not to leave into the specific there. It was pretty new for me as well, like some days ago. But yeah, Llama 2. And what's kind of cool, they, in the Hugging Face, they're kind of fine-tuning those models there. Yeah, as I said, so like maybe more for coding, more for shades, or more general, so.
Any more questions? Xavi? Si no preguntas tú, te mato.
For the DynamoDB integration, is something that you have built on your end, or is it built in LangChain?
It's
Okay.
just like use DynamoDB, and that's basically it. So the table name, of course, and the tools.
Okay.
And the AWS credentials, but in Lambda you already have them. So I
Yeah.
don't need even to. I mean, you can do everything locally. You know, you don't need to use Lambda. You can do it on your laptop machine or what, but so you don't even need to put credentials because it's in the Lambda already.
Yeah, you can use like local stack or something like that locally. Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? Pues muchísimas gracias, Martin. Un aplauso, por favor.